What's going on? We are back with the Anonymous, and today joined by two very special guests. We have Lily and Victoria in the house. How are y'all?
Great.
Yeah, doing fine. How are you?
Not as good as they could be doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is a day of mourning here,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, it was a phenomenal game. Both of you were on our top list of people that we thought that were going to take it all. So, both a fantastic game played by both of you. My first question to each of you, and you guys can decide who wants to answer first. But at what point in the game, like, was there like a specific elimination round that you felt that the game slipped away from you?
Lily, you go take it away.
I I'm trying to remember who the felt like the game slipped away from me. I mean, I felt like the game slipped away from me the moment I got in the place. So I really don't know if there was someone specifically. Obviously, when Tyrina left for me, that sucked. Tyrina, I trusted her more than anyone. And then following that, the new folks come in, fell in love with Victoria and Bisma right away. And for Bisma to leave, that was horrible for me because I also trusted Bisma. Um, so there's several eliminations that were a devastating blow for me.
Mhm. How about you, Victoria? Anybody in particular that like you were like, oh, like that was the, oh, I needed that.
Like the elimination wise?
Yeah. Or
Well,
whatever you want to talk about.
I mean, no offense, Lily. I really Xavier was my boy. Like he was my alliance, as well as Christopher. And I really felt like I was forming a strong trio with them, like outside of the girls. So I'm like, once I saw him go, I was like, ooh, there was my shield for a minute. So I felt like a Marvel superhero trio with the Christopher and Xavier, but I think like the beginning of the end to me was the very last day because I just knew like, oh, I heard like Danny that morning saying, oh, one person's gonna be going, and I'm just like look around the room and everyone's like an OG like tightness, and I'm like, where's me? I'm
Mhm.
just here. I'm just Victoria. So
So you're out there obviously playing and you're getting the real life experience being there, but then you come back and you watch the show and you watch the episodes. What were you most surprised watching back? Because I know it's tough to see maybe some specific gameplay of what other people are doing. What was most difficult for y'all?
I wouldn't say there was something difficult, but I think like the most surprising was Lily's gameplay. Like it was like beautiful. Like it started off from the start with pizza. I mean, obviously I wasn't there to experience pizza in its full effect, but pizza was just throwing slices out, and then Robot was just throwing wrenches out there. And I think that really like shook my game in my head up. Robot was never coming for me. So I wasn't scared, but like I was just like, who is this like icon? And that was Lily. And then just realizing like her what she was doing, like, as a viewer, I was like, wow, this was iconic. She was savage. So like as a viewer watching back, like I'm watching people's gameplay, and some of the other contestants' gameplay, I just was like, Christopher's lipstick. I was like, oh, we all knew that. Nothing surprising there.
Gosh, no, that's a great answer, Victoria. And I would say God bless you, but he already did and he already is ongoing. So as far as for me, what was the question? What was the most surprising? I honestly, I mean, everything, there was a lot of equally surprising things. I mean, there's many things I could say. I mean, I was surprised that Nina voted for me in the end. I never thought that she would have voted for me. She was one of the people. Same with Victoria, with Victoria voting for me as Ghost. Never in a million years. Those were the two people I was like, they're never voting for me ever. So I think those two things were very surprising. Very surprised that Dylan was Popsicle. That was one handle that I really, really struggled with. Um, there was there just honestly a lot of surprises left and right.
Oh, absolutely. The entire game was just wall to wall with surprises. But it seemed like, and just talking to you right now, it doesn't seem like you're giving yourself enough credit. I think you were really great at this game. I really do. And that's coming from somebody who's like a hardcore gamer. You came in, you didn't have any strict close allies in the household, etc., but you were still able to navigate it so well, and you were starting to dip under the radar. Now, if you had to do it all over again, because almost everybody else had tight people in the house, is there anybody that you would gravitate towards to try to create that one-on-one bond to bring you further?
I think for me, I felt really closely aligned with Nina, but I didn't always vocalize that to her. And so I think I really messed up by not, and I think that's why she started to vote for me as well. I think that's where I really messed up, is because in my head, I was like, I don't need to talk to Nina as much. Her and I are like this. We're good to go. I don't need to politic with her. So I think that was a big mistake. And then obviously, what you might not know is I trusted somebody who ultimately sent me home. I felt like throughout the whole game, I really had Marcel's back. He was a lone wolf, and so was I. And so I had a deep soft spot for Marcel. And I felt like I really loved him on a personal level as a friend. And so I would give him advice all throughout, you know, my time at the Domain, and really try to do what I could to keep him. So I think, actually circling back to the first question, that was ultimately the biggest shock for me, was that Marcel was the one who sent me.
Yeah, 100%. When we were mapping out the household structure, we definitely had you paired with Marcel, and
Yeah.
then a couple episodes later, he was like, "Oh my God, she's the Reaper."
Right. Right. And I thought it was all fun and games until he sent my ass home.
Right? Are you getting a T-shirt that says the Reaper on it? I really hope you are.
You know what? I feel like out of all Marcel has put me through, he needs to FedEx Express me a T-shirt with that on it.
Yeah,
As
he
you
definitely
should.
needs to. Victoria,
Or
what
actually, you
about
should dress as the little Reaper for Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually,
Yes.
watch out.
I love it. Victoria, I have to know, were you ever going to cut Christopher loose ever in this game, or were you always trying to go to the end?
I am so glad you asked, because I was like telling myself if I got anonymous again, and like I know no one would believe me, but like I swear I was going to eliminate Christopher. Like if his name was up there and I got anonymous, I was gonna eliminate him and then play the scorned, sad, mourning lover, so everyone would feel bad for me and I could take it to me. So like I already knew my like gameplay to the end if I was gonna become the anonymous, and man, would it have been iconic.
Oh, it would have been great.
Oh, it would have been phenomenal. That kind of answers my question a little bit, but I want to delve a little bit further deep into it. Earlier on in the season, we had a conversation with Lilly, and she said that she was totally wanting and willing to get rid of Christopher. Now, if Christopher had left much earlier in the game, how do you think that would have impacted the way that you played?
I think I'd still been in the house as long as I would have. Honestly, I think I probably would have taken me to the final four, actually. I think I would have had no hindrance. I would have been like, oh, the showman's doing like low-key things to try to get both of them to win or whatever. Like, I think there would have been no gossip about that. I think I stood as well on my own as I did in a couple. So I think that was the tell in the house that didn't really get shown on TV, is that I made connections with everyone. And maybe you don't see it in the edit, but like in the Domain, I really did. Everyone knew me on a deeper level. They knew my story, from my brain tumor to losing my mom, like everything. I was very honest about who I was as a person, maybe not who I was in the Domain, but who I was as a person. I was completely vulnerable and honest with people. And I think that really propelled me. I mean, even I feel like Lilly, we had like deep talks. So I feel like that propelled me further than even a showmance could. So honestly, I think I would have done just as fine without him in the Domain.
Yeah.
Totally fair. I mean, your gameplay was on par with some of the best in the household. Like I said, we thought one of you two were going to be the winner. 100%.
For a very long time. Like that's
Our alliance
Yeah, for like half the
It
season.
has to be one of these two. But for both of you, what advice would you give someone approaching a game such as this one, just because it's so unique?
Never being a showmance, number one. Number two, I really think in this game of lying that you have to be as real as you can be. I think everyone who put on some sort of facade or some sort of like fake identity, they got eliminated pretty much right off the bat. I think what goes well in a game of deceit is being who you truly are. And it is very hard to make those boundaries, because also like in your mental health side of things, I know for myself it was getting really hard, because I'm like, am I being this villain of lying like in the household? But no, I think you just have to make that separation, like tell everyone who you are, tell your story, because I feel like most of this game is social strategy. It's not just all about getting safety, you know, or winning money for the prize pot and make it to the end. Like you really got to focus on the social strategy side. But I think being honest in a game of deceit is my, like, I feel like that's what's really going to take you far.
And we're almost out of time, but same question to you, Lily.
I think piggybacking off of that, she really did say it best. But to add on, I would say don't judge a book by its cover. Don't just align yourself with people who you might hang out with in the real world, because age is just but a number. And we're all adults that feel like we're 18, 17 sometimes, and we're just looking for somebody with a little bit more wisdom. So I would say, really try to diversify the people that you hang out with in the domain, and then also separate anonymous mode from the connections you're making, and be as ruthless and, it cause as much confusion as you can cause in anonymous mode. I think that's one of my regrets, is not being as, upfront and having more confidence in anonymous mode and just causing a stir.
Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you two coming on. Lauren, if you want to take us out here.
No, it was awesome to have both of you come and chat with us. You all were great on the show. We loved watching you each and every single week. So Lily, Victoria, thank you so much again.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
y'all.
Cheerio.